Welcome to my cake kitchen. Hi there, I am Gladys, and over here I make simple, informative tutorials to help you navigate baking and decorating. Today we're doing a simple unboxing. It's Monday, 8th of June, and we are doing a simple unboxing. I haven't been here for a little while, so and normally Mondays are not the expected days. I have a life, but I have these unboxings I wanted to do, and I wanted to bring you along the process. So if you see me for the first time, hey there, welcome to the channel. And if you've been here long enough and you wondered where we've been the last couple of days, look, a girl needed some rest, so welcome back. Now I was going to be doing an unboxing of my new edible printer here, but coincidentally we got delivered some Amazon items as well, so I am going to be unboxing that too. Now, a few things you need to know about this box right here. As it was delivered, I haven't opened it. I don't know what is in it. And the package itself is, the edible printer is a new type. Before I continue, I should say this video is not sponsored. I bought this with my own money. It cost $159.99 on Amazon. It's the Canon Pixma TS705A. It is a highly recommended edible printer for cake makers if you want to get an edible printer for yourself. But if you don't know anything about edible printing, or if this is new to you, a little bit of background or some sort of reference for you to understand. Edible printers are normally a regular printer that has the insides, as in the cartridges, filled with food safe material, which means we can use icing sheets or wafer paper, which are also food safe paper materials made from sugar and cornstarch, depending on what you're using. And then you can print images on them. So if you see the cakes that have images of specific items, and in terms of hyper-realistic cakes, a representation of logo materials in food form, this is the kind of printer you can use. Now, there's been conversations about whether you can buy your own printer and change the printer head with the cartridges and stuff like that. I don't. What I do is that I source specific distributors who distribute and sell these edible printer which I use for edible printing. So I had one which is the, I'll show you in a minute. It's right behind me. I've had it for a little while, a couple of years now, but I went to print something and then the paper got stuck, and then I tried to pull the paper out and it scrapped the, I think it's called the printer head. There's a sensitive part of the printer that can damage easily when force is applied, and I accidentally did that, and then it broke. So I didn't have it insured, which was a bummer. But then on research, I got to find out that particular brand of printer has been discontinued. So I decided then to invest in a new edible printer. Why would I need this? Because when I get custom orders that require images in some form, especially corporate orders that require the logo details. If you've been here a little while, you would have seen me make cakes or cupcakes with specific edible printed toppers. They're expensive to buy. Like in the last couple of months that, well, my printer has been broken for a little while now, but in the last couple of months that I decided to get a supplier to supply me edible images, I pay in excess about £90 for sheets. I mean, let's do the math. The sheets come like, if I wanted a sheet for 12 cupcakes, they cost about anything between £5.50 to £7.50. So for corporate orders that are large, I can spend up to about £90. Say if I had a corporate order for 120 cupcakes, that's about a £90 spend on just the edible printers. Edible printer toppers. Obviously, that cost sometimes gets covered by the quotes I give to the customer. But the problem is that when I optimize my cupcake prices for edible images, I optimized it on the idea of having my own printer at the time. So at the time the customer is ordering the cake, they are paying for the base price, as in what it will cost if I was printing the images. And I can't suddenly turn around and tell the customer, oh, especially the corporate ones, I can't turn around and go, my printer broke, so you are going to bear the cost. So that has been a little bit of a problem for me, and also for the convenience. Having an edible printer makes it great for last minute cakes. If you have a last minute cake, which I don't normally do, but if I have to pick one up just for a reason or two, having an edible printer is so convenient, because then you can replicate images so easily. I should say though that with this new type, I don't know what's in it. I don't even know the functionalities of it, beside the fact that I know how to press print and move on from. So we are going to find out what's in here all by ourselves together. And if I can set it up, I'm not in a rush to do anything. I just wanted to unbox it, show you what is in it as like a first look in. And then as time goes on, because as time goes on, I can come back and tell you about it. The thing with my review videos is that I'm not quick to review the thing when I haven't used it. I don't know what the experience is if I review it. So just consider this a simple unboxing of a cake equipment, a cake related equipment, and my first experience of kind of having a feel and observing what it is like. I'm gonna go use it, and then if I have time, I can compile my thoughts about it and put it in a detailed video. If you've seen my Kenwood video, you would have seen that it is one of my top performing videos on YouTube, and it's actually one of the if you were looking for a review about a K-Mix, I think it's one of the top searched on Google if you look for it. And that video was made nearly 2 years after the fact, or a year after I bought the mixer. And that is because I really wanted to get use out of it and see what it is like. Because when you buy something new, obviously with warranty and everything, it's not like it's going to break, but it doesn't give you a real feel of what it is like. So I'm unlikely to give you like a detailed review in the short term, but keep an eye and we will be back for a more detailed video. For friends in the chat, hello there, welcome back. I haven't been here for a few days now, so I've missed you guys. Today I just thought, can you please, oh, can I say the edible? Yeah, we have, this is the Canon PIXMA TS705A. If anyone doesn't mind putting it in the chat, it's the Canon PIXMA TS705A. It's a wireless printer. Put it in the chat so that anybody who wants to know about it would know. And it is one of, in recent times, it's one of the highly recommended ones. There you go. It is one of the highly recommended edible printers. Let me be careful so I don't smash this over. So we're going to go and Benny, thank you very much. Faso is in the chat. Faso, darling, how are you? I hope work is still treating you fine. I saw your comments. Thank you so very much. I realize all of you are just making an effort to stay connected and still engage with the content. Thank you so very much. I don't take it for granted. I've just cut the top open, so let's try and see with the way the box is and the angle of the live. Let's see what's in here. Okay, this is the edible printer set. Comes as part of a package of items. It's not just the printer. So let's have a look at what's in here. We have some syringes, and the syringes are used to fill in the ink. So these are the syringes. I will show you those things properly. We have, okay, we have the plug and the parts of the printer. We have cartridges here, empty cartridges. Okay, this is the order form. That's fine. I'll have to leave it to the side. Oh, they even brought me some wafer paper with it. Look, some wafer paper. an icing sheet. This is cool. All right. Do you know how much icing sheets cost? You will not get them for no... Okay. Let me just be careful here. You will not get them for no less than £20, I believe. So, okay, let's see what's in here. Okay, that's the manual and everything I need. Who reads manuals? Do you? Because I can tell you, I don't. Ooh, okay. I'm trying to be careful so I don't yank this out. Okay, right. Okay. The bulky box is gone, right? Oh, okay. And then we have the ink. There's a selection of 5 colors of ink. Everything else is just packaging. Okay. All right. So what have we got here? My darling, the affiliates. I know, but you know what? Thank you. I'd love to be an affiliate, but I also, you know what? We are here for the community and the love. I have accepted that our YouTube channel, okay, all of you who support me, you are not the people who are in the business of buying a XYZ, and it's okay, okay, it's okay. So if the opportunity comes to be an affiliate, put the links in so you can get them, great. But that's not why you're here. You're here for the cake. You're here for the lessons and the tutorial. You're here for the connection with me and I with you. And we're here for the just life it, okay? So it's okay. A few pennies over here, we can live, okay? I will tell you. Oh, apparently you need one. Oh, honey. Don't worry. Don't worry. I think what I'll do is I'll just link, if I can click part of this live into a long form, you can check in the description box, and then I'll link the direct products in there, and then you can buy it. Even if I don't get the commission, it's fine. I just want you to go buy yourself a mixer. Why do I keep saying a mixer? A printer, okay? But yeah, thank you though. Thank you. Are you UK based or US based? Because that's important. Because the Amazon shop I have, I didn't know initially. They are very country based. So my original Amazon shop front, as in an affiliate shop front, is US based. But if you're in the UK, it will be much easier for you to pick this up because this is a UK purchase. I actually bought it last week. It came and I was too busy to open it. So let's look at this. Okay, so we have 1 second. So this is everything that comes as part of our printer. Okay, everything. We have the printer. Okay, this is the printer head, as in the paper, the parts that the paper go, the paper tray. This is the paper tray. Okay, we'll leave this as that. These are the syringes that will help you get your colors into the cartridges and then fit them into the printer head. We have the cables that will connect to plugging into your electrics for the printing to work. Because it's a package, obviously I have my manual. Who actually buys who buys stuff and reads the manual? Can I keep it real? I don't have the time to read the manual, okay? I just get to it, and then if I have problems, I chat GPT it. That's the trick, okay? That's it. And then we have some wafer paper, and we have icing sheets. For them to add these two over here, it's actually a steal, I would say. It is an amazing steal, because these, to get the wafer paper, you're looking at maybe anything between £6 to £9 for a pack like this, depending on how many sheets you are. And I'm going to go on a limb and think this is a pack of 25. They're about £10, but the icing sheets are more expensive. for me to get like about 25 icing sheets, the spend is about £22. So it works out a pound per sheet, and these look like 10 sheets. So for £159.99, that's in UK British pounds, round it up to £160, I've got this, which in terms of value is about £25 altogether for both. So the printer itself with the ink cartridges and everything else comes down to, let's just say, £135 or £130, which is not bad actually. So it's a steal for what it is worth. Why this printer? Right. My answer is simple. I hadn't researched into any specific type of printers, but this company, EPS, is the same company I bought my previous one from, and I've used it for years and years. I think I picked this one up 2021-ish, if my memory serves me right. I will show you I will bring it forward in a minute. It's right behind me here, and it's, let me get out of the way and show you this one, right? Okay, this is in the way. I will bring it forward in a minute. And that at the time I was picking up this printer, there were conversations in the cake community about how edible printers are very sensitive and tricky to use, and so when I made the investment, I was hoping that maximum a year or two it will give up on me anyway. And guess what? It didn't. When I got it, if it's 2021, we're in 2026, and this broke sometime December last year. So it's giving me a full 4 years, and I've never once had a problem with it. It does the job easily for me. So based on just the trust that I had sourced the printer from the same company, it just made sense to go back and buy a similar one from same company. Also because edible printers, especially with the edible or food safe material, it's not like you can just readily go anywhere to pick them up. So EPS is sort of the recommended online retailer who retails these ones, and I just thought I would pick them, and this was their most recommended when I went to the Amazon shop front. I have since had a look at it in terms of comparison to my previous one, which is the Pixma TS5051, and from all indication it has since been discontinued permanently by Canon. It's a Canon printer, and it has since been discontinued. It has some great sites. At the time it was the most recommended edible printer, but as most things, when they upgrade and update their systems and new equipments, some go out of some are phased out completely, and the TS5051 has since phased out. Even if you want it in a regular printer format, it's not available. So if I were to go and look for materials for this in terms of repairs, it will be slightly difficult as they have since discontinued it. So it just made sense to get this one, which is a recent and updated model that will do the job for me. There are slight differences between this version and that version. The summary of all that I've researched is that this version is more optimized, at least currently, for edible printing, and will do the job better. It's the amount of paper it can hold, the amount of work it can do. It's very simple and compact, and that's the job right. The only downside is that this is just for printing purposes only. The previous one did printing and scanning and photocopying. So this was a 3-in-1, whereas the current one is just optimized for printing. So I don't know. I didn't do much photocopying and scanning. I didn't do much. But scanning becomes very important if you have to, say, replicate an image in its hyper-realistic form. Say, if I wanted to make Weetabix, for instance, the random example, and I needed the sizing of the Weetabix packaging, sometimes it will make sense to cut the packaging and scan it in its form so that you can derive it as that. But you can have alternative ways to scan an image and then print it. So I am not going to be limited by that intention at all. So for that reason, that is my purchase here. I don't want to get ahead of myself to do anything that I am not prepared for, especially as I haven't looked at the manual at all. So perhaps this is the first look of what we have in here of the edible printer. Of course, if I do set it back up, I should create a long form video out of it, or in later lives I will come and show you. It is most likely I will be here more this week. The simple reason is I have quite a few number of cakes on my table, and I would like to bring you along the process. For those of you who have stayed along the process of my heat wave cake, thank you. I sincerely appreciate the effort. Okay, right, friend in the chat, that's Miss Eddie's Kitchen. Okay, Miss Eddie. Okay, I believe the TS705 is only sold by EAP. I'm Googling and cannot find it on Amazon. Eddie, are you in the US? It might just be that the product is limited by country. This is a UK purchase, and it's the 705A. It's the 705A. So perhaps make the correction and let's see. But if you can't get it in the US, I am so sorry, I can't help. Just because I know that country products vary per country, and for instance, US people have your KitchenAid. We have Kenwood over here, and we do have KitchenAid, but Kenwood is hard to find in the US. So I am so sorry, but I am so sure also, because it's a specific product. So Eddie, this is what I will say. Because it's a very specific product, and sometimes it can be very country specific, what my best recommendation for you would be, check on YouTube and find the US based creators who have a printer, an edible image. And when you filter the searches, search for a detailed recent review of an edible printer. That is what I do. Sometimes if you're looking for something and you can't find it, you want to find the closest person who has the product and who speaks from the experience of use, right? So I'm not talking about seeking someone who is reviewing it as, say, an affiliate or a brand partnership. I'm not saying you can't trust those, but look, if they are paying me, I probably won't stick my foot in. That's all I'm saying. But nobody has paid me just yet, so my opinion matters to me. So we trust that all my recommendations here, I have told you exactly what I feel about things. And if I don't feel like it, I won't say anything. But you're not going to tell. Look, I have even said a thing about buttercream and changed my mind about it. Let's talk about that buttercream that I came and told you was amazing for beginners, and then it melted on me, and I'm like, people, I changed my mind. I changed my mind. I changed my mind. Okay. So Eddie, check YouTube for edible printers, right? Make it a generalized search, and then filter the search for maybe the last year. And if the last year is too broad, filter it down to the last 6 months. And it's likely to point you to the most recent printer that can be useful for you. I hope that helps. Okay, right. That said, like, we're not going to use that today, and I'm not going to set it up. But this is our printer with all the stuff that is in it. It's really like, it's bang on the money. And so I was saying, for those of you who have come along the process of me and my buttercream and my cake problems, the chaos, thank you. It's actually been exciting for me to bring you along the process. The final video is out on this Sunday. It's been scheduled already. It's out on this Sunday when you get to see. The last video that is on the channel at the moment is the ganache issues I was having. Boy, oh boy, I can't begin to tell you how hot and bothered. And I've gone back and looked at some of the lives. Oh, people, I was melting. How come nobody told me? I was literally stood there melting. Like, I was looking like a greasy. Anyway, all I'm saying is that baking on a hot weather day is a spiritual journey, okay? So it's a spiritual battle. So pray to the Lord, pray for your buttercream, and hope for the best. But the cake turned out well. I mean, the cake from start to finish was a problem, even the collection, because the customer had to collect, and then they couldn't come on the day. Look, I don't make a habit of talking about my customers in a poor way, so I'll leave this. But boy, oh boy, that cake was just problems from start to finish. I am glad I made it. I am glad I put my best foot forward. I am glad it went to somebody so deserving and someone who enjoyed the cake, and that's all. But if you want to see more about that cake and the series, check the homepage for the long form format. We have the buttercream that melted. We have the ganache that was slipping and sliding. And of course, we have the processes that I had to kind of adapt. Eddie is talking. Do you use butter flavored Crisco during warm months? I have a problem with Crisco, Ed. I do have a problem with Crisco because the UK, you know what, the thing with you US people, I love you, my US audience, I love you. Hear my heart when I say, okay, I love you. But you people mess with your food too much. That's all I'm saying. Like, some of the ingredients are banned in the UK. Why do you have them in your food? Okay, Gladys, stop shouting. Why? So here's the thing. We have a sister version of Crisco, okay? And it's Trex. And the Trex I have used in the UK, I will not use it for anybody's cake or buttercream at all. The only time you will see me with Trex, the only time you see me with Trex is I use Trex as sort of a moisturizer and to kind of add to fondant, because of it helps fondant be pliable without sticking. So that's the only time I use Crisco. I sometimes will rub it on the cake as a medium instead of water so that my fondant will stick. So I only use it in its minimal form as some sort of like a medium for something, but I don't use it at its core as a main ingredient for anything, because I ran an experiment here, which was on previous lives. I'm sure if you go back to previous lives, and this is going like a year ago, because our lives, God, we've been here forever. I tried to make buttercream from using margarine, from using butter, and using Crisco. And the Crisco, I will tell you, in terms of its texture and stability, nothing beats it. But in terms of mouthfeel, like, I was like, the entire time I was doing the experiment here, I was cursing myself. Like, I'm like, who is using this stuff for cakes and getting away with it? It's not great, okay? So no, that's a long-winded way of saying I don't use Crisco for buttercream. I don't use it for my cakes in any shape or form, except if I was using it to mix into fondant to make it pliable. But you're talking a sort of a dollop amount. That's all. Use it. You know what? Trex has a place because it's hydrogenated fat. It has a place, but I don't think it should be an ingredient for making buttercream, even on hot weather days. So here's my thing. Okay, 1 second. Okay, here's my thing. As a cake maker, I will refuse any cake that risks me compromising my perception of quality. And I use the words I've chosen here is very specific, because quality is subjective and contextual. What one cake maker may deem as quality may not be my definition, right? So here's my standards. If the sun is too hot and the cake is not going to be stable, and a customer is asking me to make a certain cake for them, and for good reason they cannot have the options that from my point of view would guarantee stability for their cake, and they expect me to compromise on my perception or idea of what may constitute stability for them, I'm not taking that cake. So if it's, say, 28 degrees and a customer cannot have, say, a ganache cake, and a ganache cake is not like the standard for everybody, but there may be good reason why somebody cannot have a ganache cake, and that may be dietary, that may be health, or whatever reason. So I'm not forcing a ganache cake on anybody. I'm just saying I will opt for ganache as my standard for stability of a cake. I am not one who wants to go and employ other means like add, because there's a reason why you need Trex. It will stabilize your buttercream better in warm weather conditions and will help like the consistency of the buttercream. It has positives there, but because I don't like the quality of its taste, I'm not going to use it on a hot weather day. So if I have a customer who is asking me to make a cake on a hot weather day and the option has to be Trex, I'm not taking that cake order. I can go to sleep, because I'm not going to worry myself about incorporating ingredients that I don't believe will satisfy the taste mark for me, because it's important the customer gets the best out of it. And I'm not like this. I'm not like a very precious baker who kind of thinks, you know, bakers are like, oh, luxury and all of that. That's all, like, I don't want to upset you, but it's just bullshit, okay? It is, right? Understand your ingredients, how they kind of marry together, and develop your skill. Do ingredients matter? Yes, they do really matter. Does quality of ingredients matter? It is neither here nor there, because how do you define quality? You're not going to go to Waitrose and buy what like flour for £10, are you? Is there any flour that costs? Look, that's a whole conversation to have. All I'm saying here is no, I'm not Crisco. No, for good reason. No, it's not great. That's all. Okay. Yeah, I prefer, I will settle for butter any day. But yeah, like is it Benny? Benny says they use Crisco for cake release. Yes. So Crisco is not a bad product in terms of the task it is performing, but in terms of buttercream, the taste is not great. That's all. Even if you mix it with butter, it's still not great. I don't like it. That's my opinion. Don't shoot me. Okay. Faster says, I agree. I never tried Trex, but other experiences, I prefer butter. Yeah. You can never go wrong with butter for your buttercream, you know? And sometimes you kind of tinker off to the other side of the internet where you find out people who use ingredients. And then there was somebody somewhere online that apparently was using baking spread for their buttercream. My brain chemistry shifted a bit. I'm like, why would you do that? Because baking spread is not for your buttercream. Why? Like, that's all. Okay, let's go and check what Amazon is doing here. Okay. Before we get to the Amazon, I wanted to show you my the other printer, the Pixma, the 5051. There you go. So this is the previous mix that why do I keep saying? This is the previous printer I had. I loved the use of this. But like I said, the sensor in there kind of like, I don't know if by changing the cartridge I would be able to get use out of, but I also don't want to go and splurge on a cartridge only for it to not work. I am getting a little bit cautious about it, but here we are. I loved it. It was a 3-in-1. You could scan stuff on there, you could photocopy stuff, and this is the head where, let me see if I can plug it in somewhere. And no, the plug is a little further away from me. So yeah, we have, okay, let's leave it as that. But yeah, that was the previous printer I had that has since broke, and I have to replace it. So yeah, I'm glad to have a new printer. I'm excited to see what I can do in terms of edible images and hyper realistic cakes. So let's leave that to the side. I picked up some stuff for Amazon, from Amazon for this week's cake. Oh, okay, this is lovely. Right. Random stuff. They are not random. Baking pans. Can you believe, as a cake maker, I have square tins, but I don't have them in the way you would imagine. Because in my entire baking career, I have 3 sets, as in 3 pairs of 5-inch tins, because that is my most popular size requested by customers. So I have 3 pairs, which is 6 tins of 5 inches, and they are 4 inches deep. So they are slender and tall cakes, sort of double barrel cakes that stand at 8 to 9 inches tall, but 5 inches in diameter. And that is the most things I have. I have 2 sets of 6-inch, 2 sets of 7-inch, 2 sets of 8-inch, and 1 set of a 10-inch. I don't even have a 9-inch. How have I survived a baking business with just this lot? Goes to show, you don't need a lot. You don't need, but when it comes to square, when I've made square cakes in the past, say if I was making a 7-inch, I bake in a 14-inch tray, and then I kind of like cut it out. But when you do that, sometimes you risk problems with the height and leveling. So I decided I will pick 2 6-inch squares, and that's how I buy my tins. I never splurge on them. I buy what I need. In the past, I have hired them. That's also an option, I should say. I have a local bakery by where I live where you can hire them. It's £3 to hire. It's a £20 down payment, and when you return the tins, you get refunded your money, which is great. But I thought I've got to the point where I'm like, let me just pick up some extra things. So I started with the 6-inch because these are for cakes this week, which is going to be great. Square cakes are a little bit tricky to make, but you put your best foot forward if you bake it in the right size, so that you don't have to trim or do anything and mess with the shape, because you need it to be perfect as in the bake. So we have baking pans, and then I picked myself some, these are palette knives, and they are very affordable ones. I don't really need these came as extra. I don't need them, but the palette knives are just for palette knife details, as in the palette knife flowers on a cake. Just pick them for practice work. I'm looking forward to that. It will be amazing to see what those are. I needed some fine tip ones, which I will probably invest in as time goes on, but these are just for practice work. So there you have it. And then I also picked up some clay modeling tools here, and these are really tricky. You would think, why would I need clay modeling tools? Well, when sometimes you model things, as in with fondant, you need some tools to refine the details. So clay modeling tools can be used in fondant work. And I have fondant modeling tools, but I thought I would upgrade and add some very specific tools that may come handy. Also, these come handy for, say, some ganache work. If I was making a terrazzo ganache cake, I could use this tool to dig through, fill it back up, and then scoop it. So we're in for some exciting designs to come if I can make time for it. I keep promising stuff that I don't fulfill. It's not because I don't want to. It's because I have so many ideas, but my time is extremely limited. But I'm hoping I can be able to fulfill some of these new designs for you. So these are 4 sets of clay carving tools. And then we have the palette knife. Oh, it's not 4 sets, it's 6. Silly sausage. Yeah, okay. There's quite a few different ones. There's 6 sets over here. These are cool. And then the last item, which if you've been here is a favorite, is this Ingenious Edibles. I mean, this costs £15 and you could actually buy the raw materials and glycerin to mix it. But I'm not with that. Sometimes convenience is more important. If I bought it and I wanted to mix it myself, that's extra work. I don't want the work, so I paid for it. And I think it cost about £15 or something. I need it for a polished white cake, okay? The ratio of the mix, I don't know, so I don't want to undertake my own. But then again, one of the things I picked up recently also from Amazon is my the Sugar Flare Extra Red for red velvet cake. There you go. So if you wonder how I end up with red velvet cake, is because I used the paste coloring, which is the Sugar Flare Extra Red, which is what we have here. I picked that up just before these were delivered. So that's all I've got. So I've actually been splurging a bit. Like in the last week, we have a mixer, we have these and all of that. Exciting times. I'm really excited. I am, because we're going to have some really, I'm going to try and make some cool cakes for you to see, which will be great. I mean, if I can make the time for it. So yeah, that's all fun. Pastor says, I recently got the white edible coloring. Amazing. How was it? The white edible coloring. How was it? How was your experience? Were you using it for cake, as in coloring ganache or buttercream, or you were using it for cake? The Sugar Flare Extra Red is really a good one for red velvet, because sometimes I know some people don't want the artificial colors, and I do understand that. But if you do use coloring in your red velvet, this is really a good brand of color to have, though. It's really good. But yeah, great to have you all. By the way, for those of you in the chat, where are you all joining me from? And just a polite reminder whilst we are still here, if you haven't already liked the video, that here's just a polite reminder. Oh, mostly for buttercream. Here's a polite reminder to like the video, if you don't mind, just so that it can communicate your presence here to YouTube. Because if you don't know, we need your engagement more than ever, and that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to bang on about how much YouTube has changed, because I went back to the last few videos and I realized I was just moaning. I don't like to moan. I like to get on with stuff when I can, and if I can't get on with it, I'm like, let's just shh and just leave it over here. No points moaning. So no, I'm not going to moan about it, but a polite reminder that there is 6 of us in the chat, right, including myself. So if you don't mind liking the video, that would be very helpful, because that goes a long way to support us being here. Eddie says, is the Sugar Flare safe? The red coloring in the US is being banned. We still use it. People laugh at the red velvet cakes. Eddie, the UK has very strict rules about coloring and the ingredients that is used to make the coloring. So I'll go on a limb and say it is safe. Safe to the point where the E numbers, they have a very special labeling category for it. And there is still guidelines for how much you can use in a red velvet cake. And for us home bakeries or bakeries generally, when you have inspections from the environmental health officer, the professional who is responsible for inspecting your space and making sure that you adhere to the guidelines and rules and regulations related to food safety, sometimes they will ask you questions about it. So there are specific amounts that is recommended as a general guide for how much you can use per serving of cake or per quantity of butter, if you like. So I will say, yes, we are safe over here because thanks to the EU food regulations and rules, there are some ingredients you and I would agree that you have in the US that are banned in the UK. For instance, we don't have bleached cake flour because the process of bleaching has been determined to not be safe. So we have unbleached cake flour. So when you're looking for your kind of bleached cake flour that yields a very delicate, nice crumb in the US, which makes me all the more jealous because every time I see Claire Saffitz and her cakes, I'm drooling because the crumb looks great. We can't have that flour over here, cake flour. No, we have unbleached cake flour, which is closer in terms of quality to self-raising flour. So that's a long-winded way to say we're all right with our red coloring over here, but it's not everybody's cup of tea because it's still like determined as an artificial coloring, and people who are very health conscious would do well to just avoid it altogether. But it's a red velvet cake. I mean, you and I would agree that the original versions of red velvet had nothing to do with food coloring, but some genius woke up lazily and thought, let's add some color and make this thing look better. And I'm loving that. Okay, I'm here for it. Miss Eddie says, I'm going to try oats flour. You know what? The thing with baking is if you understand it, you can swap ingredients. One thing cannot always replace another thing exactly. I have used oat flour before. Like I actually milled my own oat flour, rolled oats. And for some things, like I was making some homemade muffins, sugar-free, like as in processed sugar. There was a season I just wanted my son loves chocolate cake. He loves chocolate cake. So I wanted to make him some healthier options of chocolate cakes. So homemade chocolate muffins and stuff. And I milled my own rolled oats and the results were great, but they were limited to just muffins. I didn't like the texture and yield for, say, a delicate cake. So yes, you can have oats flour for health reasons and to manage certain outcomes for yourself. Great. But one ingredient doesn't substitute equally for another, especially when it comes to baking. So it's neither here nor there. But ultimately, you have to make the best choice that is suitable for you. And I hope that works. Okay, so Eddie says, yeah, swap it. My grams, okay, which is your grandparents, must eat gluten-free products. So you try healthier options. Oh, okay. In that case, oats. I think the oats muffins that I made is on the channel. If you go back to the homepage, there are live versions, but this is going back a little while back, maybe a year or maybe 18 months if you like. So you have to go to the homepage, long form, and then scroll all the way down. The recipe is there for you. I don't do gluten-free bakes a lot because that's not my specialty. But the few times I have had to adapt my own recipes for those, the yields are great. In the UK, we have the option of having gluten-free flour, which is not necessarily oats flour. It's a mix of different other grains like your maize and rice flour or what have you, and it yields well. I have a chocolate cake recipe on here that actually turns into gluten-free, and besides the little grainy after like it has a grainy mouth feel slightly. You won't know. If you're a chocolate cake lover and that cake was served to you, you would know it's gluten-free. But it does have a slight grainy aftertaste because of the grains that have been milled. They don't mill as fine as flour, as in wheat flour. So you tend to get that little like sandy, fine sandy texture a little bit in the gluten-free, and that's our self-raising gluten-free flour. So for that reason, I am not inclined to kind of get oat flour if you like, but some recipes, like there are some recipes where oat flour is obviously a go-to. Say if you're making banana bread, if you're making homemade blueberry muffins, lemon and blueberry loaf, oat flour will be your best option. And a chocolate cake is so adaptable in many ways that if you swap for oats flour, you can even substitute the sugar, parts of the sugar, with say dates. The sweetness is still not the same as sugar would, but it's still there. So dates and banana would yield you a nice chocolate banana loaf with oat flour. And yeah, so if you're choosing gluten-free recipes, sometimes I say think about what you want to achieve, right? Because once you start making changes and substitutions, you are in a niche place. And sometimes just because you are opting for something that works means that you are going to have to forgo certain things, right? I have never enjoyed a vanilla cake gluten-free. It just doesn't taste the same. So, but a chocolate gluten-free cake is just like, it's just the devil. It is. It's good, right? So if I were like a gluten-free person, I guess that's me kissing goodbye to a vanilla cake because it doesn't taste the same. Just say. Are you back, guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Let's just get our unboxed items over here. But yeah, that's everything a sister went and picked up this week. Splurging. Yeah, dates and bananas. Mrs. I made a rainbow cake for my colleague's birthday. She must eat. Oh, okay. Yeah, I would say some recipes yield well gluten-free, and if you can master making variations of that, like a chocolate cake or a chocolate loaf or chocolate banana, chocolate chip, like or chocolate blueberry. When you get a good recipe, all you have to do is just make variations of it with different flavors, and it will probably be the best. But yeah, dates in cakes. I love a sticky toffee pudding. Yeah, but when I've used dates for the chocolate cake, it just feels like a brownie, a good brownie. Because if you have a good brownie, no matter how much sugar is in it, because it's so chocolate heavy, I don't taste sugar. All I taste is just rich cake, right? But yeah, people, that's it for today. We've unboxed all of that. I think the last couple of weeks after my cake melted on me, I decided that, you know what, YouTube and my commitments have gotten the better of me. But like I said, customer cake is back on the table this week. There's a few moving parts to get through. So I'm going to try my best and be here as much as I can this week. I'm sure I'll be back tomorrow because we're making buttercream, we're making ganache for the cake for which I bought the tins for. And I would love to bring you along some of the journey. Because you know what? I loved the current series that I made of the heat wave cake. I love that because I am able to reference the lives where the whole thing was going down, so that you get to see and feel the the trouble of my cake life in real time. But yet I'm also able to edit some of the footage and then put it in a succinct way for you to still grasp, right? So I think if I can, I will bring you along the process. This cake is going to be like, I'm dreaming about the cake in a way where my head hurts, but I hope I can do it justice because it's one of my like very loyal customers and it's a milestone birthday. And in my head, I'm like, if only I can just bring it. So I'm hoping I can bring it, and I will bring you along the process as best as I can on the live and also on like the edited long form. So hopefully, fingers crossed, voiceover cake decoration tutorials are back, at least for now, until something knocks me off and I'm back again. Like, yeah, let's see. Faso says sticky toffee pudding is my go-to, especially from M&S with their vanilla custard. Faso, you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to tell me. Okay. Now I'm working out the distance between my house and M&S. Faso. Okay, let's see. Miss Eddie's Kitchen says, the chocolate cake recipe with applesauce versus eggs worked for me as well. They couldn't believe it's a vegan cake. Oh, okay. I tell you some a vanilla cake. Did I say? Okay, I said a gluten-free vanilla cake, but I tell you, I made some vegan vanilla cakes here. And I tell you what the secret ingredient was. Aquafaba. Oh my God. That stuff is like, that stuff works. The crumb, because in the past when I've tried egg-free cakes, it's like, it's very doughy. Aquafaba says, go and try that and come back and tell me. Yeah, go try the aquafaba. But yeah, it's lovely to have you too, Eddie. You will find that we are a community of sisterhood and family here, okay? We know each other, we talk to each other. Nobody was expecting me today. That's why you haven't seen the gang. You are with Faso today. But most of the time, there's quite a bit of you. And I think the lives in the evening are unusual because normally my lives are in the afternoon. And I'm trying to kind of tweak that a little bit. So check the community post for any updates. Like, if you don't find me here, you'll find me in long form. And if you don't find me in long form, you'll find me in shorts. And if you don't find me in shorts, you'll find me in community posts where I'm kind of updating you in real time what to expect and what's happening. So I've said it here, you will see me mostly this week a lot because I have customer cakes going. I still have to kind of work out my diary so that I'm sure about my time and presence because the lives are not scheduled. If I can make it here, you are just seeing me in real time. So I'm going to try and update any information about the timing and exact specifics on the community post. But otherwise, currently we have the heat wave cake I made a cake in a heat wave. I was melting like the cake I was making. It was hell of a mess, but the cake ended up being made, and I've compiled that into a series that is already like up on the channel. So go catch all of that, and I'll be back here and I'll see you all soon. Take care and thanks for stopping by. Mwah.